have to tell you guys a little secret. I haven't been posting on YouTube for about a month now, and the reason why I haven't been posting is because I really didn't like the way those videos turned out. I mean, I really do like the content. I stand by what I said. I thought they would resonate with people, but I think that the way I filmed it, the style of the video, maybe didn't really resonate as much as I thought it was going to. And that's okay. I'm a big advocate for trying new things, and with those videos, I was trying something new. I was filming while I was traveling for the very first time, and that in itself was a learning experience for me. But despite not posting on YouTube, I have been keeping busy. I actually started posting more short form content on TikTok, and the reason why I started doing that was so I can get more comfortable on camera. I definitely think that it worked, but you guys will have to let me know how this video goes. Speaking of this video, today I want to take you around with me. It's a beautiful Sunday. The summer solstice was just a few days ago, so this is a perfect time for new energy, new habits, renewal in general. And I thought, what a more perfect time to talk about the things that you can do this summer, small things that you can do every single day that can help you shift your identity to become more of who you want to be, and also things that can help you build a brand if you're in that season of your life. So come along with me. We have a few errands to run, a few places to go, and we're going to be diving deeper into this topic. Okay, so the first thing that we need to talk about is the fact that all creation begins in the mind. And what do I mean by that? Well, before anything can materialize in the real world, it has to first be conceived in the mind. Just fix that real quick. So before anything else, I really want you to ask yourself, what am I trying to create? Is it a new identity, a new offer, or a brand that reflects who you've become? This is a really important exercise because you need clarity before you can create momentum. And I honestly think that summer is the best time to sit with that. We're traveling more, we're working a little less, and the energy in general is just a little bit softer. I know in my studio, for example, summer always brings fewer projects because my clients are with their kids, they're on vacation, or just unplugging. So why not use this space to plan, slowly but intentionally? Not with pressure, but with presence. What do you want September to look like? Not just for your business, but for your life as well. Because the time that you're going to spend visualizing now is what's going to make the execution feel that much more effortless later. Whenever you want to create a new identity for yourself, or if you're building a business, you'll have to be really intentional with how you want to present yourself, how you want this next level self to be, what habits does she have, what kind of things does she do, what is the type of person that she is. And when it comes to your brand, it's the same thing. How do you want the brand to be perceived? Who is it attracting? What kind of tone of voice do you have? And those are all things that you need to curate yourself before even thinking about selling, or before even building your website, or whatever it may be. A lot of our clients come to us, for example, at the early stages of building a business. And obviously, as we dive into branding, we need to ask the client these questions in order to create a brand that truly stands out, that is truly unique. And the same thing goes for this new identity that you are creating. Even when you're thinking about starting a new business, you have to become a new person, someone that can sustain that business. You have to create that brand for yourself, and you have to know exactly where it is that you're going. If you don't know where you're going, well, how can you ever get there, right? So when you're creating a new identity, it goes the same way. You have to know exactly what it is that you're trying to build. Another thing that we have to remember is that in this life, in 2025, you are the brand. You are the brand. So again, whether you're just creating a new identity or you're building your brand, you most likely are the brand. Our brands, they revolve around ourselves. And in this case, you need to know what it is that you're building. How do you want to be perceived? And you're thinking to yourself, if you're building a business or you're building a new identity, you're thinking to yourself, this is going to come naturally. But actually, it's not going to come naturally at all. You do have to think about, how do you want to be perceived in order to create the right image? When you're looking at the word perceived, you're thinking to yourself, how will other people see me? But it's also the way you perceive yourself that matters entirely in this world, because the way you perceive yourself is the way others perceive you. So when you're thinking about how do you want to be perceived when you're building a new identity, you want to be someone that goes after her goals. You want to be someone that doesn't procrastinate. You want to be a content creator, which is something that's on my list. or you want to be someone that is focused, you want to be someone that goes to the gym, whatever it may be. In order to find out how you want to be perceived by yourself and others, you have to create your brand. And how do you create your brand during the summer when everyone is out? If you have kids, your kids are at home, you're a lot more busy, and obviously you want to enjoy summer. There are a few really simple but quite effective ways to plan this new identity of yours or this new brand of yours. And we're going to talk about them right now so that you can relax while you're traveling while also building this new identity and this new brand for yourself. So the first thing that I want you to do this summer is create a Pinterest board. This is so important. A lot of our clients, for example, when we first start working with them, they tell us that they do have Pinterest, but they don't have a Pinterest for the brand that they want to build. Pinterest is such a great visual platform to plan anything in your life. Anything that you want to curate, you can use Pinterest to do so. And I really love this one because Pinterest truly does feel like social media. So when you're on it, you don't really feel like you're working. My business partner, Amanda, who's the creative director at Zen, I constantly catch her scrolling on Pinterest. Whenever she has a free second, she's always scrolling on Pinterest. And it's a really good way to find out what you like visually. So you can create different boards. You can create different boards for your new identity, for how you want your business to look like, what you want your business to feel like, what kind of colors you like, whatever you want, you can do so with Pinterest. And I highly recommend you start using your Pinterest more strategically if you haven't done so already. The next thing that we're going to be doing this summer is saving our ideas. How often do you have amazing ideas that you just never save, you never put into practice? You kind of get them, you clock them, you know that it's a good idea, but then you never remember it again, probably thousands of times in a day. So this summer, we're not going to let those ideas pass us by. We're going to note them down and we're going to come back to it later. Whenever we're lacking inspiration, whenever we need a little refresher, this is a great place to start. I recommend journaling every single day, but even keeping a small notebook in your purse. I call this a commons notebook, where you can just write any idea that comes to you whenever you have it. It's so helpful. I personally get so many good ideas all the time, but before writing them down, I would just forget about them. And then someone else would implement that idea, or someone else would create a service around that idea. And I remember that I had that idea first, but because I forgot about it, I didn't implement it. It kind of passed me by and it went to the next person. So this is why now, whenever inspiration comes to me, I like to pause what I'm doing and I go and I write it down in this commons notebook. And if I want to expand on it, I will journal on it later. But it's such a good small habit to start during the summer because, again, you don't have as much pressure, maybe you're not working as much, and you can really let your ideas flow. And I would say begin by writing even the most stupid ideas. Even if you think you're never going to use this, it's not important. That's not the point. Out of 10 ideas, probably 2 of them are going to be useful, but you need to put all the other 8 down on paper before you get to the really good one. And that mind-body connection, it really helps you solidify that idea, and actually it makes it bigger than what it initially was. I also like to write little notes about who I am. Whenever I discover something new about myself, I like to write it down. I like to come back to it because I do find that nowadays we don't really know ourselves as much anymore. So, summer is the perfect time to start thinking about who you are, what it is that you like. And in the case of creating your new identity, this is really such a good place to start because you need to be clear on who you are now in order to know what changes you need to make so that you can shift into that new identity. And when it comes for your business, so often we have good ideas that we simply forget to implement just because we didn't write them down. So if you already have a business, I strongly recommend writing your ideas down. And if you are just now starting up creating a business, keeping those ideas is never going to be a waste. It will get you into the habit of writing things down, and I am sure you're going to come back to it later and it will be useful in one way or another. Also, if you're curious about what I have in my notebook, let's find out. I would love to share this with you. So I started this a while back. My problem is that I start way too many notebooks and I never finish them, but it's okay. I have this one, I have this one, I have a couple more journals at home as well. So Anyway, let's see what's in this one. First of all, I wrote down some video ideas that I had. I wanted to make a video on patterns, on indecision, on attitude, and on attention. I actually did go ahead and film all of these videos and I posted them on my channel if you want to check them out. But again, it's in the old style, so be warned. And then the next video idea that I had was about the lonely life of an entrepreneur. Let me know if any of these are good ideas that you want me to talk about. After that, I wrote some phrases that I want to integrate into my day-to-day vocabulary. So again, part of my new identity, and the reason why I wrote this down is because my future self, or the self that I'm trying to manifest, I always say that I speak eloquently, I use all the right words, I can express my thoughts and emotions clearly, and this is why I want to integrate new phrases in my vocabulary. And then I wrote down my YouTube growth affirmations as well. This is a good one. I wrote down visualization scenarios. If you are someone that visualizes, maybe you can relate to this. I am definitely someone that needs to have a full scenario made up in her mind before I can fully visualize it and manifest the thing that I'm trying to manifest. So sometimes I see scenes in the 3D that I want to manifest for myself. So whenever that happens, I write those things down and I will go back to those scenarios later when I'm visualizing so that I can actually manifest these things into my life. Then I wrote another affirmation: I am in the right place at the right time. This is a really good one. I wrote down here: you can't solve a problem with the state of consciousness you entered it. And the reason why I wrote this down is because I realized that in my own life, I was trying to manifest my new identity from my old beliefs. But it's really, really difficult to manifest a new identity from your old beliefs. You actually have to have new beliefs in order to be that new person. And how do you accept those new beliefs? Well, it starts with action, right? You have to start by doing the actions of the person that you want to become in order to assume the identity of the person that you want to become. Otherwise, you're never going to be able to manifest a new self from your old self's belief. And this is why it's really, really important to take aligned action. I talk about this in a lot of my videos, but positive thinking without aligned action will not take you anywhere, because it is the actions that you do that will reinforce your belief in yourself and your belief in this new identity that you're creating. So let me explain. If I say that the identity that I want to manifest is someone that goes to the gym 4 times a week, is someone that travels all the time, is someone that is constantly on calls with clients, then I need to now do the actions of that person, right? I'm not going to snap my fingers and wake up tomorrow morning and go to the gym 4 times a week and have a full client roster and start traveling. That's just not going to happen. First, I have to do the actions of that person. So if it's going to the gym, that is a habit, right? So I need to start working on that habit now. I need to start going to the gym twice a week first and get into that habit. And I actually need to start doing it, right? I can't just want to go to the gym. That's not going to be enough. I actually need to prepare my bag, take my ass to the gym, and actually do the workout before I can become someone that works out 4 times a week. It's the same thing with traveling. You're not just going to snap your fingers and be on a plane. First, you have to pick the destination. You have to think about your itinerary. You have to buy your tickets. And then you're going to be on the plane traveling to that destination. And same thing with clients, right? I can't just wake up tomorrow and have a full roster of consulting clients when my branding studio right now is mostly focused on web design and branding, right? So first, I need to create the content that will attract those kind of clients. I need to book those calls. I need to talk to people that I'm offering these services before that could actually become my reality. So to circle back to what I wrote here, you can't solve a problem with the state of consciousness you entered in. I hope I explained it well. I hope you understand where I was going with this, but you have to become a new person in order to solve the problems that your current self is facing. You're never going to be able to solve your problems or your perceived problems. It doesn't matter whether they're real or perceived. You cannot solve those by staying exactly the way you are, because the you that you are right now is the you that got you into these problems. So you need to evolve in order to be able to solve those problems. And then that's another interesting thing, what I wrote down here: who do I want to be? And then I wrote down what are the qualities that I want to have. What do I do? What are my hobbies? How do I look? What's the vibe? What vocabulary do I have? What kind of presence do I have? What are my best angles? And I know these sound like really minute things, and it sounds like I'm being very intentional in crafting the person that I want to become. But honestly, I don't see anything wrong with that. This is actually one of the things that I love most about this life, the fact that we have the ability to choose, the fact that we can become whoever we want to be. You know, a lot of people are stuck in the mental loop of thinking that they are who they are and it is what it is, when that is not true at all. You can create the person that you want to be, and you can be very intentional about it. And I personally find this to be such a fun project. I am my own creation, and I love that. It could sound a little bit neurotic to some people, but I personally really love this work. I love finding out more about who I am and who I want to become. I just find it so interesting. What else did I write in here? It's from Man's Search for Meaning, and I wrote down, humans are driven primarily by the will to find meaning in their lives. So to go back to what I was saying, for me, what is most important in this life is discovering myself. But it's not just discovering myself, it's becoming myself, right? That is the biggest meaning of this life, creating ourselves piece by piece, year by year. And it's just so wonderful to see. I can honestly say that I am not the same person that I was when I was 16 years old. I am not the same person that I was when I was 20 years old. And I'm most certainly not the same person that I was even last year. Every single year I become different. I become more of myself, and I just find it an incredible journey. And the next thing that I wrote down here from Man's Search for Meaning is, when we can't change our situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. And isn't that true? I mean, that's the basis of why we're doing everything that we're doing, right? This is why we want to create a new identity for ourselves. This is why we want to create a business, because we have to change ourselves in order to change our situation. I just think that's beautiful. But anyway, this is just a little look into one of my notebooks. And wasn't that fascinating? I haven't really read anything in here in a couple of weeks because, like I said, I have so many different journals. But I'm so glad that I wrote these things down, and I'm so glad that I was able to share them with you, and hopefully you took something away from it. I really hope so. Okay, the next thing that I want you to do this summer is to observe things around you. I know it sounds like such a simple habit, but how often do we actually sit and look around? You know, look at what people are wearing, look at the trees, look at flowers, look at the environment around you, and just notice what it is that you like from your environment. Notice what things attract you. Notice what sort of music is playing. This is such a good way to find out more about yourself, more about what brings you joy, and it's also so calming for your nervous system. And trust me when I say this, a lot of people don't do this. You know, we're building brands for clients and things like that, and when we ask them what they like, you know, they don't know what they like. And the reason why that is because we don't often take the time to notice. We don't take time to notice what's around us, how the world moves. And this is such an important habit to cultivate, especially in this day and age. We're constantly online, we're constantly looking at our phones, at our TVs, at our laptops, and we never really stop to look around and to notice just how beautiful this world really is. Trust me, this is going to be I don't like using the word game changer, but this is going to be such a game changer in your life. You're gonna notice that just sitting around and looking at the world passing by is something that you're really gonna enjoy. And I promise you that you're going to get so much inspiration. I personally really love the way light looks as it's passing through tree leaves. It's so beautiful and it's so mesmerizing. And how many moments like that do we have in this life where it's just so simple yet so beautiful? It will make your heart happy, it will make you more creative, and you will notice that you become more yourself when you sit and actually notice what's going on around you. Okay, we're almost done. The next thing that I want you to do this year is start a social media account. Trust me, it is time. If you've been wanting to start one, but you didn't know what to post, or you were afraid of how people would see you, don't think about any of that right now. Take this summer to experiment with social media. Post whatever, post anything and everything. Just try to see kind of what you like. Try to look at what other people are doing. Try to hop on trends. Film talking videos. That's what I started with. Just film talking videos. It doesn't really matter. As long as you start a social media account, it's going to be really, really beneficial for you as a person, but also for your business later on. Or if you have a business right now, it's extremely beneficial to show your face on social media. I would say start with the platform that you're most comfortable with, that usually has the least amount of friction. And again, now that you have your ideas written down, now that you have your Pinterest board, you are ready to create this content. And you don't have to overthink it. Use this summer as leverage to get better. You're probably not going to be that great in the beginning, but that's not the point. The point is to start somewhere. And by the time you will actually need that account, you'll already be better. You'll know what style of content you like to do. You'll know what your audience will resonate with. And hopefully by then, you'll also have an audience. It's also really good just for your own person. You will learn so much by removing this fear that we have to be seen, right? You can learn so much about yourself through your content. You can learn about your fears. You can learn about your creativity. It pushes you to be more creative, to think outside the box. There's just so many different benefits. And if you haven't done so already, this summer is the time to start. Create a channel for yourself and start creating content. Don't overthink it, just allow yourself to experiment with it. For me, starting this YouTube channel and creating more short form content on TikTok has really allowed me first to become better at expressing myself. I've become more comfortable on camera. Again, I'm not 100% there, but it doesn't matter. Realistically, I probably started 2 months ago posting consistently. And in that short period of time, I already feel so much better about showing up. I'm creating that consistent habit and I'm way less afraid. At this point, I don't even really care if people watch my content because I know why I'm doing it and I know that I'm doing it for me, and that's enough. And the final thing that I want you to do this summer is to work on your habits. I would say that out of the 5, these last 2 are the most involved. These first 3 are really easy, but it's really important to work on your habits during the summer. If you want to meditate every single day, that's a good habit to maintain. It's pretty easy. If you want to journal every single day, that's a good habit to maintain. That doesn't take a lot. I would say pick easy habits that again will contribute to the rest of it. So things like journaling, things like meditating, things like stretching, just things that put you in a better mood, in a better mindset, and things that make your body feel better as well. So there you have it. These are the 5 things that I would do this summer. And these are things, again, that you can do while you're relaxing. They don't require too much of you, but they will really help you understand yourself better and understand the brand that you're trying to build better. I really hope this video was helpful. It was really fun for me to create. Let me know if you like this new format. Let me know if you like the whiteboard. And if you did, I'm Vanessa. I hope you'll subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.